Hi, Barbara. How are you?
Hi, James. I'm well, and you?
Yeah, I'm very good here. I understand that it's cooling off in Miami.
Yes, it is. It's actually a balmy 79.
Well, I guess that's better than 90 something, yeah?
Oh, yes.
Okay, we're all very anxious to hear about your hunt. Now, we know that the first time out was not very successful and that you ended up with a bit of an injury. So now you have returned, and you know, that was a beautiful reindeer, actually. Tell us a little bit about that hunt.
Thank you. Well, yes, I did go back. This hunt takes place in what you might consider the end of the world. We're talking about a string of islands known as the Aleutian Islands that come off the peninsula of Alaska, and they just stretch way out there into the Bering Sea. This is farther out than Dutch Harbor, which you probably familiar with from Deadliest Catch on cable television. This is further out than that. This is a true adventure hunt. It is not for every hunter. Let me just start with that. But for the person who's looking for something unusual, something different, something unique, something that not everybody gets to do, this is a truly adventurous hunt.
Okay, Barbara, tell me a little bit about the size of the island.
Well, these islands, Atka Island is 60 by 20 miles, and Umnak Island is 70 by 20 miles.
Okay, so you hunted on
these
two
are
islands?
Volcanic, I'm sorry?
You hunted on 2 islands?
Well, the first time I went to Atka Island, that's where I had the hunting vehicle accident. Where we lost traction and we slid down a hill and rolled over and had all kinds of fun.
Right, you ended up with that lovely neck brace.
I'm sorry?
You ended up with that lovely neck brace.
Yes, a wonderful accessory.
Okay, so Barbara, did you have to fly into Anchorage first and then take a smaller plane out?
Yes, you go to Anchorage, and then from Anchorage you fly to Dutch Harbor, and then from Dutch Harbor you take a Pen Air charter flight on a Grumman Goose, which as you know is what, a 40-year-old plane.
Yep.
It is a nostalgic piece of aviation history, and they are using one of the last operational Grumman Goose out there. So that was an adventure in itself. I got to experience a water landing in that. That was fun.
Yeah, now the thing about Alaska is that even though those planes are as old as they are, they're maintained excellently. But I am just kind of curious, it took you then how long from Anchorage to get to where you actually did the hunting? It's about
3 to 4 hours. From Anchorage. You stop in Dutch, you switch planes, and then you go out from there to the islands.
Okay, so it's not that bad.
It's reasonable. I mean, you can do it. It's not that arduous.
No. We have flown. I know that you have flown, and I have flown several hours, like for instance in Africa, to get to a location. This is 3 hours on and off an airplane, which probably gives you an opportunity to do a little rest stop, maybe get a cup of coffee, and then you get on another. So that's not that bad.
Well, you have a very quick stop in Dutch before the plane takes, before you have to change planes and take off again, depending on your schedule. But yes, you do get a break there, and make sure you make your pit stop before you get on that goose, because there's no bathroom.
Yeah. Okay. So what kind of gun are you using, by the way?
I took my 30-06 and found that perfectly serviceable. It worked fine for me. Many people take a stainless steel rifle out there because of the wet conditions, and because this is coastal Alaska, so we are talking about being out in the Bering Sea in the salt water. But I found my trusty 30-06 was just fine.
Okay, we arrive. Are you hunting that same day, or is it too late in the day and you started in the morning?
Well, you arrive and you do a zero check on your rifle to make sure your scope didn't get knocked around and everything. And then you hunt the next day. That's when you start your hunt. I actually only hunted one day. I took my reindeer towards the end of the day. We were actually going back to the lodge when we came across this herd and spotted a very nice bull in it. And we spotted him. It was 560 yards or so, and we made a mad dash. This is open country. You can only use the contours of the land, and we climbed down into this little ravine and crossed a rivulet, and I was able to get within 190 yards before I took my shot.
Yeah, that's very good. Actually, that's outstanding. I know on a caribou hunt that I went to, and caribou are wonderful animals to hunt. They're beautiful to look at. Certainly the herds are very exciting to watch. But, you know, I actually was able to approach mine by holding my hands over my head and walking like this towards him. And they really didn't understand that I was human. They thought that I was one of them. Did you use that at all?
Our guide did that a few times to try to get to
get closer.
Yeah, well, to get the lead bull's attention, and that worked several times. But the ones that we were looking at that time did not meet the minimum of 400 SCI points, which is what our guide holds to. The SCI minimum to enter into the record book is 264, but the guide on this hunt will not shoot anything under 400 points. And these animals are there. Mine will score in the lower 400s, and the other hunter that was with me, he took a very nice bull the next day, and his will score around 450. His was a little wider than mine, so it had a little more length on the main beams. Beautiful bull, and getting bulls of this size is very, very doable. We didn't see huge numbers of them in this size, but there's a lot of bulls out there. Many of them I looked at, my hunting partner looked at, and, oh, I'd shoot him, and our guide would say, no, you're not. We can do better than that, and we did. So this is definitely a high trophy quality hunt, but again, it is a real adventure hunt because you are going out into the middle of nowhere. You are hunting in the end of the earth. Right. And there are some challenges to getting in and out of there. We were advised to get on the next time that the goose was on Umnak. We were advised, get on it, because you don't know if it will be able to make it the day that you're scheduled to fly. So that's what we did, and we got to Dutch, and then I was stuck in Dutch for about 4 days because all the flights that were going out back to Anchorage were completely booked up. All the fishing boats were coming in. It was the end of the season, and all these fishermen were going back home. And I stuck around in the Dutch Harbor Airport for the better part of 4 days.
Okay, I got to ask you a couple of questions here. Now, number one, do you remember the weight of the bullet you used?
Yes, I used a 165 grain.
Okay.
And I shot a Hornady brand bullet. Performed very well. I got excellent double lung penetration. It went all the way through the animal. The bull ran about 10 yards one way with the herd uphill, and then suddenly realized he didn't feel too good, turned around, ran another 20 yards downhill, and dropped over. So the bullet performed excellently.
Okay, now the next question I'm going to ask you is, did you eat any?
I did not get to eat any. The agreement on this hunt is operated by a PICTA, which is called the Aleutian Pribilof Islands Community Development Association. That's a mouthful. In conjunction with Jim Shockey's Hunting Adventures. And what a PICTA does is they work with all of the native community, native corporations on these islands to develop programs for the people, for the natives living on those islands. So the agreement on these trophy hunts is that the meat goes to the native people on the island. That is their main source of protein, of meat on that island. I just went ahead. I was just grateful to have had the pleasure and the privilege of being there to hunt these beautiful animals, and I just let the community have all of the meat.
Right. Well, if you have the opportunity, the way, if they fix it the way they fixed it for me, it's an outstanding animal to eat. I can't imagine it to be much different than caribou, but you know, I don't know how they're fixing it in that location. One more question though, and that is, did you take any of it home? Did you skin it? I mean, do you have the hide? Do you have the horns? What?
Well, I took the cape back to Anchorage with me and went over to Knight's Taxidermy and left it in their very capable hands in Anchorage. And the antlers will be brought out at the end of the season with everybody else's antlers. They'll go to Knight's Taxidermy, and I'm going to have a very lovely pedestal mount done of this trophy, because I don't think anything less than a shoulder mount would do justice to this trophy. He's just absolutely gorgeous, and I want to show him off to the best of his ability.
I completely understand that, because that was a beautiful animal that you took. Now, I got to ask you the big question now. When you flew, did you have any problems with your guns and the airlines?
No. None at all.
Did you fly American or what?
Nothing.
What airlines did you use coming from Florida?
Well, I flew from Miami to Anchorage aboard Alaska Airlines.
Okay.
The check-in procedure was very simple. I just filled out a little form, put it in the case, took it over to TSA, let TSA know that it was a firearm. I got all of my bags with no problem. Occasionally, bags do go amiss. The hunters that came in after me, one of them had a problem with his baggage. He didn't get his baggage for a couple of days. So that is something that can happen. But as far as Alaska Airlines dealing with hunters and firearms, they were wonderful. I got no attitude, no problems. Good. They did their jobs, and they did it very well. Good,
because you and I have discussed that in the past. You know, we've roasted a few airlines over the years.
Yes, we have, and they had it coming too.
So I'm very glad to hear that Alaska Airlines. Now let me ask you this question: would Alaska Airlines have accommodated any of the trophy coming home?
I understand that they would, like other airlines, they have certain requirements. You have to have things packed in a leak-proof container. The antlers, I don't know exactly, because I knew that I didn't have to bring them back with me, so I didn't look at that regulation for that airline. But no matter what airline you're traveling with, if you're going hunting, you really need to take a very close look at those requirements and restrictions and make sure that the animal, the particular animal that you're hunting, will not have a rack that would exceed their restrictions.
Right. Right. Okay, Barbara, thank you very much for telling us about that hunt. It's very exciting. We're all very jealous that we weren't able to go with you, of course, but that really is an outstanding photograph. I don't know who took that, but whoever took that photograph, I hope that you're going to get that one framed.
I definitely will, and I will have a full feature story on this hunt and everything that you should expect on it in the November issue of the newsletter. I will have more photographs posted on the Hunting Report website and on my Facebook page, so look me up on Facebook, everybody.
Okay, and I just had a request from the crew. Somebody said, would you send us one and sign it? Really? That's what they want? Would you?
Yes, of course.
Okay, we're gonna get an autographed copy. Thank you very much, Barbara. I'm going to have them put that picture up one more time. Let's see if we can get them to do that. They can put that picture up. Thank you, Barbara. We'll see you again next week.
Sounds good, James. See you then.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.